Gotta drink my coffee. Get away from me, Dynamite. You look mean. Watch out for all the bullets. Good to know, thank you. Let's enter the Gungeon. What's up, you dummies? My name is Thomas Brush. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe. I'm also working on a game called Once Upon a Coma. That's coming out soon. Today, we're going to talk about the creation of a game called Enter the Gungeon. I'm actually going to play this game with the creator. His name is Dave Crooks, and he's amazing. He has some incredible insight about the creation of this game, and so I'm going to show that to you while we play this game. This is going to be a really fun Let's Play. Well, it's not really a Let's Play, is it? It's a Devs Play. Now guys, this is just a quick reminder, okay? Just listen, please don't leave the video. I'm on Patreon. Patreon is a great way to support me, support my studio, and it helps me continue to make games. So if you guys are interested in helping support me, please head on over to Patreon, see if that's something for you. Thanks. So there's so much to learn from this game. It's incredibly successful game. It's done very well. Let me just show you some things that make this game what make it so special. First, the ability to pretty much knock over anything you run into for no reason. Like, I can knock into these candles and they sort of knock over and splatter on the ground, which is really cool. I love the idea of being able to choose between 4 characters, and this actually, I think there's 4 characters. Let's choose the convict. The reason why this is significant is because this makes the game streamable. Right away, it makes it streamable. Because when someone like you is watching this game, you realize, hey, I want to try the other characters. Streamability means that the game can be played multiple ways. It gives the player the ability to be creative, all sorts of cool stuff. Just looking at this, it makes me realize that they've put a lot of effort into the lighting, even though it might not be real lighting. And I know this game was made in Unity, but you can see there's a feeling of lighting coming from this door up here, and it's probably drawn onto the PNGs and baked in using Photoshop. There's also a drop shadow here. It makes the player feel like there's placement, that they're actually firmly on the ground. And you can also see here there's a shadow that was probably programmed in, probably just a PNG. It could be real lighting, but it looks like a PNG that's literally changing its angle based on the position of the player to this center here. Now, the creator of this game, Dave Crooks, is surprisingly one of the most open and honest people about the creation of games. So I'm just gonna give it to Dave. I had an incredible interview with him about this game, and he's gonna tell us some really cool fun facts. So here comes the very first super secret fun fact.
Like, there were some people telling us that it was gonna do well, and that that we shouldn't worry. But like, it's super hard to believe anyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in our mindset at that point, where we were like in negative land, you know.
Yeah, it really is hard to determine whose voice to listen to when it comes to how well a game is going to perform. Because I've worked with PR agencies in the past, where the PR agency is like, yeah, we're gonna kill it, you're gonna knock it out of the park, don't worry, you're gonna get plenty of press coverage, and it looks like you're gonna get into the atmosphere on launch day, everything is set up, you're good to go. And then we launch, and it just fizzles.
So Devolver is funny because like by the end of it, they were just like, dude, cut stuff out, like it's fine, like it's fine, everything. They were like, they would never say like it's going to do fine. They would say like you're going to be fine. And I think it was more like even if the game does poorly, like Devolver's gonna help you out. You guys know what you're doing, so like we know it's a good game. So like if it sells 0 copies, we'll help you make another game. You know?
Wow.
And like,
are you? They said that to you in so many words?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because Devolver invests in people, not games. That
sounds super cliche, but I believe you. I can't imagine a company actually operating that way, because I'm very pessimistic. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, so this conversation we're having right now is a conversation I have had countless times. Like, nobody understands Devolver. Devolver doesn't understand Devolver. They always joke about like, how the hell is this working? Because they just throw money at stuff, but they throw money at things they believe in, and like they just keep hitting it. My opinion of publishing a game is the first decision you need to make is, do you want to work with a publisher?
Yeah.
And then the next step is like, show your game to Devolver. Like, I don't really think like they're extremely choosy and have only become more choosy as they've gotten more popular.
Yes.
But like, I can't really imagine any scenario or company being better than them. They could, maybe someone will come along that will be as good, but they are. I think that Nigel Lowry, the guy who like is kind of the marketing guru at Devolver, and he's also like a personal friend, is probably the best person at his job, which is marketing, on the face of the earth.
The game feel is so good. Watch me run through this door here. Watch. Immediate. Feels really good. This game was made in 2016, which at the time Unity didn't have a ton of great tools for creating spine animations. So using things like, that's awesome. Controls are great. Using things like sprite sheets as opposed to actual spine animations. Pixel-based games are notorious for using sprite sheets. Oh, that's awesome. So awesome. The game feels incredible. Now look, I can interact with so many things. This is what makes this game so streamable and so exciting. I press E on that and it throws this fire pit thingy onto the ground. You've got the ambience slowly changing. And right now you've got this really relaxing soundtrack. But the moment you engage in battle, it slowly fades in the battle music. So you're always sort of on your toes, and you always feel like the world is emotionally telling you how to feel. The game feels incredible because it's super clicky. Like, you click on one thing, and you immediately get a reaction on the screen. So they're following, Dave Crooks, the creator of this game, and his team, they're following a lot of game feel rules. The moment the player inputs something into the computer, aka when I click my mouse, something needs to immediately happen. The player should know immediately, even in games like Assassin's Creed, the player should know immediately that something is going to happen. So they need information. They need to be given information on screen that something is about to happen. Otherwise it feels soggy. It feels great. Guys, notice how the camera, it doesn't follow the player only, but it also follows the cursor. And that allows things to feel much more alive. That where I move my mouse, the developer is thinking of me looking at that area. So that's really important. That's really cool. So my question is, where are we headed? Where should game developers focus their resources? Let's pretend profitability is the primary goal of a game developer. Where do they need to focus to release a game in 2020?
That is a doozy. I think. Well, let me think about this for a second. I would say that if profitability is your only real goal, and it should certainly be one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
That if you are not paying extremely serious attention to streaming in some capacity, then you are making probably the gravest mistake you can make. Making something that is fun to watch, that includes reasons for players to play it again and when I say players, I mean like content creators, like to play it again and again to fill their channels. Like if Northern Lion like hadn't liked Gungeon or hadn't had as many reasons to play it, like he wouldn't have made as many videos as he did, and he gets 400,000+ views per video.
Dude,
and like I can't tell you exactly like how many dollars that made Dodge Roll, but it certainly wasn't zero.
Exactly. Now you guys, it seems like you hit the same thing that the Binding of Isaac hit, which you got picked up by Northern Lion, which he seems to love these, what do you call it? Dungeon crawler game, basically.
Rogue-like.
Rogue-like.
Rogue-lite. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he seems to pick them up and make them explode. Edmund McMillan was telling, I can't remember who it was, he was on a podcast and he said that Binding of Isaac sort of flunked when it launched.
Yeah.
And then Northern Lion picked it up, and it's like it's an infinite billboard, free of charge. Now the thing about creating games, especially in Unity, is when you're a one-man team, sometimes you don't really have the resources or the time to create all these assets. And so that brings me to this page here. This is actually part of Unity's asset store. And this is Shan R, and it's actually a designer who's created a ton of assets for you guys, and they're actually sponsoring the video. So thank you so much, Shan R, for supporting this video. I just want to show you really quick some of these awesome assets. We've got some really cool low poly assets here, particularly this pretty epic monster. So you can actually import that into your game files and use them. Same is true for this guy here. We've got a huge boss creature, and you've got all the polygons you need. It's rigged and ready to go. So thank you, Shanar, for supporting this video. And guys, if you're interested in taking a look at these assets on the Unity Asset Store, that would be awesome. It supports him, and it supports this channel. Links in the description. Thanks. So much like Binding of Isaac, this game is highly successful because streamers picked it up and would not stop playing it. So many episodes about this game on Northern Lion's channel. Right click is, oh, I can do a jump or a roll. That's awesome. Notice how the character would look perfect as a tiny little character, or if you zoomed in, he would look perfect as well. So your protagonist should look great at all sizes. And look how his personality, or her personality, it's a she. Notice how her personality is really shining through just by the simplicity of her hair flipping up and down and her eyes being a bright blue and a slight smirk on her face. What? And the crazy thing is this looks totally different than the last time I played it. So I don't know if it's, maybe I totally missed this, but is this procedurally generated? And that is another reason why this game is streamable, aka profitable. What worked last year in terms of selling a game doesn't work this year. And what worked the year before in terms of marketing and selling a game doesn't work the next year. So like 2016 for Enter the Gungeon is probably going to be a completely different launch strategy than your next game in 2020 or 21. People like Nigel, they have like this sixth sense of being able to maybe predict what's going to propel a game into the atmosphere on launch day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Nigel has a sixth sense. And the other thing too that's like cool about Devolver is like they really, really, really care about the devs in lots of ways. So, you know, as a game is coming together that they've already signed, like they already believe in the game, they already believe in the developer. If they see like the game coming up as being in a position where they're less sure that it would recoup or maybe would do not as good as they initially had hoped or whatever, they're just seeing like the stars align in such a way that like they think a game needs help, they will like really, really do their job. I mean, granted, Gungeon has like been is one of their more successful games, and so like that success affords it some more opportunities than other things. You know, I'm not gonna lie, like that's absolutely true. But like Devolver in principle is they're trying to make every game that they sign a success and every developer they sign a success.
What? That's not good. Okay, Thomas. Okay, so that what I just did, that blows up all these bullets. So I don't have to always dodge bullets. Die. Get out of here, you jerk. Yeah. So from what I can gather, a lot of these enemies probably have the same base class, meaning they were programmed with all similar behavior. They can move up and down. They have speed. They have health. They can emit particles. And then on top of those, you extend to another class. So in this case, this guy has a class added to it that extends and allows him to spin something around his head. And then we could take that class and we could add onto that, maybe for a boss or something. Make it a little bit more challenging, add on some additional stuff. So this game feels so full because I'm collecting all these amazing things. So I've got this awesome book here, which that animation was incredible. The fact that they decided to spend the time animating that book opening. Because for me, I would just literally just show the book and I would be done. But it's so fun opening up this book. And this really helps extend gameplay length. And by extending gameplay length, you're continuing to make the game streamable and also perceived value. It makes your game feel like it's more valuable than maybe it actually is. Because I don't necessarily care what each one of these guns actually does, and I'm probably not going to read all of it. Some of you probably will. But it feels full. It feels alive. There's a whole world here. And so what I want to ask you is, what are some things that make a game streamable?
Well, I think that certainly like procedural generation is one thing, because these people who are like doing our content creators full time, you know, they can only play the new game so much, you know, and building an audience in many cases means being consistent. Yeah. And so having sort of like Northern Lion as an example again, but he's got the NLSS and he has the docket, you know, and here's what I'm going to play, and like you can tune in for the new stuff, you can tune in for the staples, you know, you can tune in for the multiplayer. But I think like procedural generation is really helpful because these people who need to fill up all this time, like it's at least a little bit fresh again, you know. Okay. I think difficult games often can be like, because like even in a game that doesn't have procedural generation, like say Sekiro or Dark Souls or something like that, like the fact that it's difficult and that it's like and certainly mysterious at the beginning, but then it's difficult later. Like people like to watch people be good at stuff, you know. Interesting. So I mean, like Lobos Jr., he plays Dark Souls a lot, and he plays all the Souls-like games, and like, you know, sometimes he does it with mods and stuff like that. But like, if something is difficult and you get to watch somebody master it, I think that's that can hold appeal. Like not for every audience and not for every streamer.
Okay, are we ready for the boss? I don't know. I'm getting nervous, and when I get nervous, my back starts to hurt. Meaning my back is hurting really bad right now. Oh man, I'm so excited. Let's go. I'm not prepared for this. The Bullet King. That's awesome. And I love the music too. Whoa, that's unfair. Whoa. Wait, what? This is really hard. I don't know how to use other items though, to be honest. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's not that hard. I'm doing okay. Come on, Thomas. What was the biggest challenge during development of the game? And I would love something super specific.
I mean, really the biggest challenge was those interpersonal things. I think like that's the thing we come away from Gungeon feeling like the most like we cannot go through that again. You know, at the time that Gungeon came out, we were the first or maybe second, like really like intense, fast-moving action game built in Unity to be released on PlayStation 4. Yeah. And like Unity's, you know, console support and specifically garbage collection, it was not great.
Yeah, was in 2016.
Yeah,
and it was really bad then.
I think if you remember, you might remember when Campo Santo released Firewatch, like everyone was just like totally shitting on its PlayStation 4 performance, and and we were right in the middle of like doing the PlayStation 4 port at the time, and I actually wrote the day that Firewatch came out and they were getting all that hate. Like I actually sent an email to Campo Santo just to say like total solidarity. We know like what you're going through. We know it's not your fault, and like. You know, and that's they sent back a message saying like, thank you, it means a lot. You know, reading these comments is very frustrating.
Okay, I've got this. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, come on. I know, guys, I know you're thinking, Thomas, you're gonna suck. Of course I suck. I've been spending all my time making games that I don't really play games anymore. Okay. Oh, come on. Not only did I die, they had to create a graphic where I get shot. This is hard. What am I doing wrong? Am I doing something wrong? That was really fun, though. Man, that was such a good interview. I love Dave Crooks more than I love... I was about to say more than I love my wife, but that's not true, and that's a horrible thing to say. I love my wife a lot. I really love Dave Crooks, though. He's a great guy. He is so open and honest and transparent. He was really helpful to me in learning about game development and learning about this game's creation. If you guys like this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment. And if you really, really want to support, head on over to Patreon and see if that's something for you. Oh, and by the way, guys, I make video games, so be sure to check out some of my games in the links in the description. Love you, bye.